morning I took a ferry from Skye to Tarbert to hike the Hebridean Way. It is 295 kilometers long. The northern terminus is at the butt of Lewis and the southern one in Vatersay. This is very difficult to find shelter from the wind in Scotland. Not a lot of trees and a lot of wind. So bus stops are pretty good for that. Time to do a wee recap of the last 2 days on trail. So I got off the ferry in Tarbert in the morning and started to hitch in the rain, but I didn't wait long, about 5 minutes, and some really nice lady took me to Stornoway, the main city in the outer Hebrides, and she actually gave me her card just in case I needed anything. And from Stornoway I got another ride with another really nice lady that I just finished work and had nothing else to do and was bored, so she drove me all the way to the butt of Lewis at the start of the trail. That was really nice of her. Looks like everybody is really nice on this island. Actually, this section I just did from the butt of Lewis up north to Stornoway is not finished yet. It's mostly a road walk, and actually most people skip it, and I can see why. Near the butt of Lewis it's actually really beautiful. The coastline is amazing. But after that it's just very swampy and a lot of road walking basically. It's been quite a hard day today. I had a difficult hitch this morning trying to get to Callanish, where the standing stones are. I waited for about an hour and was actually ready to give up and keep hiking when a car finally stopped. It took half an hour to get a ride back to the trail and it was pretty cold. It took me a while to warm up after that. Then it was hard to navigate on trail. The terrain was quite difficult with a lot of mud and tussock. But in the end I found this really nice shelter. Apparently it's for hikers and cyclists, so I am really happy with that. I don't have to pitch a tent in the rain. I don't have to find a place to pitch a tent, which is quite difficult here. That looks pretty bad out there. I don't really want to leave this place. It's pretty nice in here and it looks absolutely miserable up there. I'm not going to lie, I'm wondering what I'm still doing here. The weather has been so bad for so long, I'm really questioning if it's worth staying on trail and in Scotland in general. Now I decided it's enough and that I'll hop on a ferry in a couple of hours and then fly back to France. But at lunchtime, the weather clears up and I'm getting some proper views for the first time in 4 days. I realize that it's beautiful here. That cheers me up a bit, so I decide to keep hiking. Apparently, a lot of what you can see in the trippy sequence from 2001 A Space Odyssey was helicopter shots of the coastline of Isle of Harris. I bumped into two hikers and one tried to tell me something, but I just couldn't hear her because the wind was so loud. She also ended up falling down because of the wind. Yep, just another day on the Hebridean Way. At some point today, the wind got so intense that I had to stop and sit. To give you an idea, in 2005 in Lewis, a driver got a ship blown across his windshield. Not only do I believe this story, but I would have believed it even if it was a cow. Today, the wind is more insane than ever, and I feel more exhausted than after a hard hiking day in the mountains. It's also cold and raining, but really, it's the wind that drives me crazy. Wind can be so much worse than rain.
Especially back when the weather's been against you.
So this morning I was hoping to get the 4 p.m. ferry to Stornoway, but it was very windy still and the terrain was pretty difficult, so I didn't get that ferry, and there was one after that at 6:30, and I was waiting for it for quite a while and it wasn't coming. And then there was a small boat that arrived. It was replacing the actual ferry that broke down. And the guy from the ferry told me that instead of pitching my tent in that really shitty weather, I should sleep in the toilets on the pier. And of course it sounded awesome, because that's what you do when you hike a trash and when the weather is horrible outside. And I had a fantastic night in my palace. That felt like Versailles to me. After a few steps, I realized that the wind is not that bad for the first time in a week, maybe even 10 days. It's just a breeze. It is the best feeling ever. I feel like I've been in the rinse cycle of a washing machine for 12 hours a day for a week. Look at this blue sky behind me, hard to believe, eh? Yesterday I was still questioning myself a lot about still being on trail after being so miserable. It's been probably some of the hardest hiking I've ever done. Today has been really good. I mean, it hasn't been this sunny all day long. I mean, it's been an hour or so, but it wasn't too windy, and it's probably the first day I've been actually enjoying my hike for like 10 days or something. And this evening, because it's already 6:30 p.m, I will probably try to hike as much as I can while it is nice. Let me tell you, this seaweed stinks. It is horrible. This is the ferry terminal for the last island, Bada. I guess that part of the reason I stayed is that even in the worst conditions, the Outer Hebrides have something magical about them, and you really do feel far away from the world here. And just to be clear, this is a stunning trail, and I'd love to do it again in decent weather someday. But this was really hard. The best advice I can give to someone who wants to hike this trail is to go northbound. You'll have the wind at your back, and that makes all the difference in the world. Here we are, the southern terminus. Oh, that was a mission. Let's get out of here.